Hey, it's me, Crystal, and today I'm going to show you how to crochet a cute 5-petaled flower and then how to turn it into a garland. For these flowers, I'm using some worsted weight yarn and some chunky yarn from Paint Box Yarns that's basically like heavy worsted. And I'm also using a 5mm crochet hook. If you use a different size yarn, just make sure you're using a hook that works with it. To start, we're going to make a magic loop. So just take your yarn and wrap it over your fingers. You're going to insert your hook into the loop and pull up the loop. Then you're going to pinch your loops and then take your fingers out of the middle of your circle. Bring your working yarn over to the left side. I like to grab the big loop with my left hand and then just tighten up that loop a little bit. Now you're going to yarn over and pull through, and this will secure your magic loop so you don't have to hold it so weirdly anymore. And then you're going to chain one more time. So you're doing a chain 2, and then we're going to make 10 half double crochets inside of our loop. So yarn over, insert your hook into the circle and pull up a loop, yarn over again, and pull through all 3 loops. And you're just going to repeat that 10 times total. And the chain 2 at the beginning does not count as a stitch for this part, so just do 10 half double crochets in your magic ring. Okay, so we've done our 10 half double crochets in our magic ring. So now what you're going to do is grab that little short end and pull it until it cinches up the ring. And you want to pull it really good so that hole is nice and closed. And then we're gonna find the first stitch, which I always count just to be safe, but you want to find that first stitch right there and make sure you're not working into the chain 2 because we're not counting the chain 2. We're just going with this first half double crochet. And we're going to insert our hook into that stitch and make a slip stitch to finish off this round. So just insert your hook, yarn over, and pull through all the loops. There we go. And you might want to give it another pull to make sure it's nice and tight. Now you're going to chain 2, and this time it is going to count as a stitch. So we're going to make another half double crochet right in that same stitch that we just came out of, the one that we are attached to. So just insert your hook right into there and make a half double crochet. And now we're going to do 2 half double crochets in each stitch around. So this could also be called a half double crochet increase, but you just make 1 and then make 1 more in the same stitch. And you're just going to do that for all the stitches around, so you'll end up with 20 altogether, and that does count the chain 2 this time. So for this round, it does count as a stitch. Sorry for the confusion. After you get all your half double crochets done, you're going to attach to the top of the chain 2. So just insert your hook into that second chain, and then you're just going to make a slip stitch to join this round together. There we go. And now we are done with the center of the flower, so we can cut our yarn, and you can just pull the yarn through the loop that's on your hook and then tighten it, and that will finish off your center of your flower. And you can make them in all kinds of colors, which I am going to do for mine, which you'll see in a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and weave in my ends. So just grab a large eye needle, and I recommend doing it right away because then you won't have to do it later. And then weave in the middle of your magic ring, and I recommend going around the ring, like all the way around, so it doesn't come undone. And then go ahead and cut off the excess. And now we're ready to make our petals. So I'm using white worsted weight yarn for this. You can join pretty much anywhere, but I like to join about 2 stitches to the left of where we finished off our round. I don't know why, it's just what I like to do. So insert your hook into that stitch, and you're going to pull your yarn through. And just to make it easy, I like to just tie a knot right here. to make the yarn nice and secure. And then you're gonna insert your hook into the same stitch that we just tied our yarn onto and pull up a loop and then just make a slip stitch to kind of start this round. And then I'm gonna work over that yarn end so I don't have to weave that one in later. But then in the next stitch, so we just did a slip stitch, we're gonna work over 4 stitches for each petal. So you're gonna yarn over, and in the next stitch we're gonna make 2 double crochets. So insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over again, and pull through the second 2. That's 1 double crochet. Then repeat that in the same stitch. Now again in that same stitch we're going to make a treble crochet. So you wrap the yarn around your hook twice, insert in the same stitch and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over again and pull through 2 more, and then yarn over 1 more time and pull through the last 2. There we go. Then in the next stitch we're going to do another treble crochet, so this will be in the next stitch over. All right, and then in that same stitch you're going to do 2 double crochets. There's 1, and then 1 more double crochet in that same stitch. All right, and then to finish this petal off, we're going to make a slip stitch in the next stitch. There is the base of one of our petals. So we're going to do this 5 times all together. Now I'm moving that little yarn tail out of the way because I've worked over it pretty well. So in the next stitch, you're going to make a slip stitch. Then in the next stitch, you're going to do 2 double crochets. Then in that same stitch, you're going to do a treble crochet. Then in the next stitch, you're going to make a treble crochet. And then 2 double crochets in that same stitch. And then to finish it off, a slip stitch in the next one over. There we go. So go ahead and repeat that 3 more times, and then I will show you how to finish it off once you get your last petal made. So I've done my last petal and I finished with my last slip stitch, and now we're going to make one last slip stitch. So we did the last one, but we're going to do one more in the same stitch that we did our first stitch where we attached our yarn. So there we go. This is our base layer of petals, and I think it's kind of cute just like that. If you wanted to stop here, you could. But we're going to do another row to make our petals a little bigger. So now what we're going to do is skip that stitch that's right there, and we're going to do a slip stitch into that next one. So just insert it and make your slip stitch. Then in the next stitch, we're going to do 2 half double crochets. So right in here. Then in the next stitch, you're going to do 2 double crochets and then a treble. So here's our first double, 1 more double, and then a treble crochet. Then in the next stitch, you're going to do 1 treble and then 2 doubles. Then in the next stitch, 2 half doubles right here. And then a slip stitch in the next stitch right here. All right, so there's 1 petal. Then we're going to skip the next 2 stitches. So we're slip stitched into that one. You're going to skip this one right here, and then you're going to skip this one right here, and you're going to slip stitch into the next one over right here. So the 3rd stitch from where you're at right now. So skip, skip, and then slip stitch into this one right here. And then you're going to do that for each petal. So the next one, you're going to go ahead and do your 2 half double crochets in the next stitch. Then do your 2 doubles and 1 treble crochet in the next stitch. Do 1 treble and 2 double crochets in the next stitch. Then do 2 half double crochets in the next stitch. And slip stitch into the next one. All right, there's petal number 2. Then again, you're going to skip the next 2 stitches, and then you're going to slip stitch into that next one over. And then you're just going to repeat it all over again for the next 3 stitches. And when you get done with all 3 stitches, at the end, I will show you how to finish it off. Alright, so we just finished our last petal. So again, we're going to skip the next 2 stitches, and then you're just going to slip stitch into that 3rd stitch over. And this time we're finishing off though. So that will end that round. And now you can go ahead and cut your yarn and pull it through the loop that's on your hook. And then just pull it to tighten that up, and that'll secure your yarn. And your flower is done. And now all we have to do is weave in our ends. And since we crocheted over that first one, we don't have to weave that one in, which is a little bit of a time saver. And then you're just going to take your other end and go ahead and weave it in securely. I'll do this nice and fast for you because it's not the most exciting part, but very important. And once you get your end woven in and you cut the yarn, you can use this flower for whatever you want. Maybe sew it onto a bag or something fun like that, but I'm going to show you how to turn it into a cute little garland. And what I did was I went ahead and crocheted a bunch of different colors of middles, and here they are. And then this flower is beating them up for some reason. But then I went ahead and I finished my flowers in these 5 different colors. And then what I'm going to do is make a little garland. So I'm using the same white yarn that I used for the petals. And I'm going to just make a long chain. So there's really no right or wrong way to do this. Just attach the yarn to your hook with a slip knot and then just make a chain. And the length of the chain is entirely up to you. It depends on however many flowers you want to put in your garland or how long you want your garland to be. And I honestly don't know how long my chain was exactly. I just knew it was as long as I needed it to be to evenly fit my 5 flowers with enough space in between to where I liked how it looked. So once you get that done and it's the length that you want for your garland, you can just cut your yarn and then pull the end through the loop on your hook, and hopefully your yarn won't split like mine just did, but pull it to tighten up that end and that'll secure it. And then I just went and cut the two little pieces of yarn hanging out the same length so it looked even. And then I folded it in half to find the center. And then I agonized over what order the colors should go in. And once I finally decided the order, I picked my middle one and I just grabbed a little short piece of yarn. I actually used a scrap from making these flowers that I had on my desk. And I just found the center of this top petal and used my yarn needle to feed the yarn through it, and then I went through the chain, and I didn't just go around it, I actually went through it so it wouldn't slide up and down the chain. And then I'm just going to tie a real basic knot here, double knot it so it's nice and secure, and then I'm going to flip it over and weave the yarn ends through some of the stitches on the back of my flower just to hide it. And if you wanted, you could probably just leave the yarn and tie it in a little bow if you wanted to. It's up to you. This part is very customizable. You can do whatever you want. Then I cut off the excess yarn, and then I just went ahead and repeated that with all the other flowers. And here is the finished result, and I just think it turned out so cute. And I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, please leave a like, comment, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. Thanks for watching!